Before I get into the video, I just want to mention something real quick. Growing up, I had low self-esteem, thought I was ugly, I wasn't very confident with my appearance, and I sometimes even skipped school because of how bad I thought my acne was. It was these insecurities that stunted my positive growth with how I viewed myself. Although I am a lot more secure with myself now, I still carry some of those insecurities with me today, and it's something I regret not confronting earlier in my journey, because it has affected past relationships. Wanting to become more attractive and improving your physical appearance is important, but so is mental health and the way you view yourself. So I urge you to focus on both. So in this video, I want to give you the best advice I can while laying out the steps I took to improve my facial attractiveness. I touched on some of these in a Reddit thread and in a few other videos, but I wanted to go a little more in depth. I hope this video helps other guys and girls that were at my starting point, because not only did this improve my facial attractiveness, but I became more confident in myself. It improved my dating life and other areas of my life as well, and I hope it will do the same for you. If one of your goals is to have quality relationships, then your physical attractiveness is so important. And I'm going to make a video on how to achieve an aesthetic body as well, because although you can change certain aspects of your face through time, your body changes at a quicker rate, giving you faster results in the gym. So stay tuned for that video, because I will pump that out. So I'll just jump straight into it. The first habit I implemented was mewing. Some of you may already know what this is, but if you don't, then I'll briefly describe it. Mewing is the practice of correcting your tongue posture to rest on the roof of your mouth instead of the bottom. Many people, including me, rested their tongue on the bottom of their mouths, which in turn causes incorrect facial growth. Mewing is essential to the correct growth in your face, especially if you're young. I started mewing at the age of 16. If you apply mewing in your adolescent years or during puberty, you will see the most results. However, you can still apply mewing if you're 20 years old and above. Just know your results will be a bit slower, but that shouldn't disappoint or stop you, because you will see results no matter what. It's not up to me to tell you how big or small those results will be, but it will most likely be up to your genetics and your own personal work. Something else I want to get into is my older brother. That sounded funny, but he has and had a sharp jawline growing up. I remember consulting him about mewing, and I came to find out he already held correct tongue posture. He was mewing in his adolescence, which I think is the result of his facial growth today. I, on the other hand, held incorrect tongue posture in my adolescence and into my teen years, which caused my face to grow incorrectly. And once I corrected my tongue posture and implemented the other habits I talk about in this video, my true genetics started to reveal and my facial appearance started to improve drastically. I believe mewing was the base to the growth in my facial features. Some would argue that I had a good starting point already and that adding mewing was just a small aid in my growth. While I do agree with that somewhat, I believe it was multiple factors that caused the results I have today, and mewing was one of the main components. And if I hadn't implemented mewing, I don't think I would look the same today. God damn, there's someone weed whacking out there. It's so loud. Alright, hopefully you guys don't hear that. I believe mewing can alter the way your face grows, changing the shape of your jawline, heightening your cheekbones, and aligning your nose and chin, also giving your face a more appealing look and improving your facial features. Adjusting the position of your tongue can also correct other issues like crooked teeth and sleep apnea. I still have crooked overlapping teeth, however, I noticed the gap in my teeth close more and more as time went on. This could be the result of mewing, or it could be the result of my wisdom teeth growing in and pushing my gap together. I really can't say. And also, don't listen to anyone who says mewing doesn't work. A lot of people are new to mewing and think they're going to see results the next day or in a few weeks, and when they don't see quick, desirable results, they trash it. They don't realize it's not only mewing you have to implement, but other important habits as well. It might take you months or even years to see any kind of results, so if you just want a quick fix and this isn't for you, it's going to take time, a lot of patience, and the building of other habits that I mentioned in this video, but you should just start rather than throwing it out the window and disregarding it completely. So here's a picture of what it looks like to hold correct tongue posture. Simply flatten your tongue up to the roof of your mouth and focus on getting your whole tongue to stick, including the very back. And I'm not going to tell you the exact techniques on how to mew, because you can find other videos that go into more depth than I can. But I will link some tutorials I found helpful and Mike Mew's channel in the description of this video. Mike Mew, he has a lot of good information on this topic. Him and his dad created it, so check out his channel if you haven't already. The second component to improving your facial attractiveness is a low body fat percentage. Having a low body fat percentage is as important, if not more important, than mewing. If you aim for anywhere between 12% or below, your face will become leaner and more angular and just less rounded, causing your cheekbones to become more prominent. Your jawline will start to really reveal, and depending on your genetics, you will acquire hollow cheeks. I mean, take a look at the drastic change in my face from when I was above 12% body fat compared to when I started to lean down a few months later and lose fat. You can see my cheekbones popped and I was starting to attain the hollow cheek look. My facial appearance became more defined and chiseled. I don't know my current exact body fat, but I do know it's below 12. I know that for sure. When you're anywhere above, let's say 15%, it's going to show in your face, especially if you're a man. Men's bodies are more prone to store excess fat in the upper body, and more so in the face. But when you lean down and lose fat, your face will begin to reveal the angularity that was always there. And let me tell you the ways that you can achieve a low body fat percentage. There are multiple ways you can go about achieving it. Say what you will about long distance running, but it's what I currently do in my routine. It's not really long distance. I just aim to complete 20 minutes of a light to medium jog a day, 7 days a week. This is what has helped me maintain my low percentage. You can try other forms of cardio like HIIT training or cycling, swimming, or even just walking. Just add some form of cardio that you stick to every day, or maybe 4 to 5 times a week, as long as you're moving around. Also, being in a caloric deficit and maintaining your weight after you've shed that fat off is also important if you want a low body fat percentage. A caloric deficit is when you eat less calories than your normal daily amount. It's that simple. But you have to pair it with doing some form of cardio. Yes, I mean, you can sit around all day while eating less and still lose weight and fat. However, you will see results at a slower rate and develop a skinny, fat looking body. This was me at 17 when I was doing no physical activity and not eating as much as I do now. Yeah, I was skinny, but you can see there was no definition. I think this also has to do with my diet at the time. It wasn't the best, but I don't believe there would be much of a difference if I had eaten clean. Also, stand for long periods of time. I don't know if this helps, but I find sitting down too long irritates me and I just want to stand up. So I created a standing desk for myself that I use often. Don't work out or do cardio for, 20 minutes and then just sit down for the rest of the day. So I definitely recommend shooting for a low body fat percentage if you want to see those good results. And you can achieve that by doing any form of cardio or being in a caloric deficit and maintaining your weight. I also recommend not going all in on cardio at first. For example, if you want to get into jogging for 20 or 30 minutes, don't try to complete 30 minutes the first day. Start with 10 minutes or whatever you can handle and then gradually work your way up to 20 or 30. And the next thing I want to talk about is your diet. Having a clean diet is also very important, and let me tell you why. When I was younger and throughout my teen years, my diet revolved around highly processed foods. I'd eat and drink nothing but cereals, donuts, fast foods, McDonald's, and Burger King. These foods were filled with saturated fats, added sugars, lots of sodium, and other nasty ingredients, and this caused my face to have that puffy, loose look to it. And I'm sure it also made my acne worse. This processed food, it breaks down the proteins that allow your skin to look alive and in shape, structured, and firm. When your diet is based around heavily saturated and sugary foods, your skin begins to look puffy, wrinkly, just a dry and saggy look. Acne breakouts are also more likely to occur. It was when I started to add foods like vegetables, fruits, meats, and nuts, and other healthy foods. When I noticed my skin came alive, I switched candy to fruit, fast food to homemade cooked meals. I switched soda for water, and it had a major positive effect on my skin. But consuming this horrible processed food has more downsides than you think. These highly processed foods are soft and easy to chew. It takes less than 10 seconds to chew a bite out of a McDonald's burger than it would take to chew a bite out of a real steak. Base your diet off of tough foods like chicken, steak, pork chops, and veggies like carrots and nuts like almonds. You get the gist. I'm not saying take out the healthy soft foods like oatmeal, for example. I eat oatmeal every day because I enjoy it and it helps me stick to my diet. I'm saying simply add more hard foods to your diet so you can work out your jaw muscles. Take a look at our ancestors, for example. Our ancestors consumed food based on their environment. They didn't have McDonald's or Burger King. Rather, they ate natural meat It took a while for them to chew it, and in turn it positively developed their faces. Chew your food thoroughly and slowly. I'm not talking about in slow motion, but in a way where you just enjoy your food. I don't have a set time on each bite I take. I simply just try to enjoy those bites and eat at a slower pace. But you have to stay disciplined enough in the first place to actually eat clean. You're going to get bored and give in to your cravings. You will crave a McDonald's burger or other sweets, so let me give you a quick tip on sticking to your diet. Make healthy, satiating food that is high in protein and that tastes good. Eating a meal that is high in protein and is satiating will actually fill you up compared to the highly processed meal that is made to make you want more, like a McDonald's $5 meal. That will make you want to eat more because it does not fill you up. You don't have to eat plain healthy food all the time. My oatmeal recipe, it's just peanut butter, oats, and protein powder, sometimes with a dash of sugar-free syrup. Most of the time this will kill my cravings and fill me up. It's high in protein, low in sugar and fats, but still hits the spot. Eating protein bars and making healthy snacks can also take those cravings away. I recommend putting a Quest bar in the microwave for 10 seconds. Life-changing experience. Not really, but this one tastes like a warmed up brownie when you heat it up. So good. The next tip is chewing gum. When I first discovered mewing and the importance of chewing hard foods and the effects that it has on your face, I went a bit overboard with chewing gum. I would stick a whole pack in my mouth and chew for an hour, close to every day. I'd then stick it in the fridge and chew for an hour the next day. I was dedicated and I do not recommend doing this. I did this for about 2 months straight before realizing it was too much pressure on my jaw. I experimented and I came to the conclusion that chewing half a pack of Trident gum for 1 to 2 hours once a week, equally on each side of my jaw, was the best for me. It doesn't seem like much, but it adds up when you do it for a while. This also depends on where I'm at with my diet. If I feel like I'm not getting enough hard foods in my diet for the week, I'll chew the whole pack instead of half of it. I also don't have a set time on how fast or slow I chew. I just chew. It's pretty self-explanatory what the benefits of chewing gum are because you're just working out your jaw muscles, but it's just an aid that goes alongside mewing. Do not take it too far because you will experience a level of discomfort if you go overboard with it. I also never used any jaw chewing devices or that hard Phalum gum stuff. I've never used that before. The next habit you need to implement is some form of resistance training like weightlifting or calisthenics. I believe there is a correlation between working out and the effect it can have on your facial growth. Working out, it boosts testosterone, and when you have more testosterone, your masculine features are going to develop more, giving your face a more chiseled masculine look. There are also different workouts that you can do to include your lower face without directly working it. For example, when I used to lift weights, the incline bench press would leave my upper neck area so sore, and I believe it was being indirectly worked on. So I recommend getting onto a workout plan, whether it be lifting weights or body weight exercises only. Again, I'm going to make a video on how to achieve an aesthetic body like mine, so stay tuned. And I want to mention again, this is just an aid that I used alongside my other habits. It was not the main factor towards the development of my facial attractiveness, but I believe it did help with the process of my results. Okay, next one is posture and the importance of breathing through your nose. First of all, do not be a mouth breather. I was lucky enough to grow up mainly breathing through my nose because I hated the dryness feeling I'd get from breathing through my mouth. Mouth breathing, it can cause sleep disorders. It can also change the structure of your face, like this guy. This guy, for example. This is the result of mouth breathing for an extended period of time. Most people, or most mouth breathers, develop mouth breathing at a very young age, causing long-term problems in adulthood. When breathing through your nose, the tiny hairs that you have filter out debris like pollution, allergens, and small insects. Your mouth doesn't offer that kind of protection. There are obvious exceptions to when mouth breathing is okay, like when doing any kind of physical activity. It's preferable to take deeper and bigger breaths through your mouth, and that's okay. It's when you make mouth breathing your permanent way of oxygen consumption where you're going to start to lose correct facial growth, and it's going to stunt the growth in your face, especially if you're mouth breathing at night for hours on end, because you won't take notice to close your mouth when you're in a deep sleep. It's going to mess up the growth of your face. If you have a problem with snoring or mouth breathing during sleep, then you have to tape your mouth shut at night. It's going to suck, but if you practice and stick with it, your face will thank you later. Now on to posture. Since the creation of technology, our posture has been getting worse and worse. We're constantly looking down at our phones and our laps and working at computers for long periods of time, causing our heads to be held forward and adding additional stress to the jaw joint. Not only does it add stress to your facial joints, but it also looks unattractive. Poor posture pushes things forward, causing the fat under your chin to be pushed forward as well, giving you the appearance of a double chin even if you aren't fat. When you have correct upright posture, you are more likely to be perceived as healthy and confident. You put on a display of your confidence while most people have drooping shoulders and a forward neck. So for me personally, my posture, it was fixed naturally through my workout routine and noticing when my head was falling down while looking at my phone in my lap. So it is important to constantly monitor your own posture and be aware of where your head is in comparison to your body. Holding correct posture is having your ears in line with your shoulders. On my standing desk, I'll have a set of books under my laptop elevating it. That way, it reaches eye level to keep my head from drooping downwards. So here's the next one. The benefit of water in a skincare routine. I drink a gallon of water throughout each day. I find a gallon to be just the right amount. I notice when drinking a gallon a day paired with a clean diet, my skin became so much more clear and I don't get many bad acne breakouts like I used to. There are so many benefits to drinking water, like reduced wrinkles, it slows down aging, you'll have tighter skin, and that's just to name a few. And if you want to take it to the next level, then add a skincare routine. And for my guys, it's not girly to have a routine taking care of your skin. Many of the top male models have a skincare routine. It helps fight premature wrinkles and it helps keep your skin looking at its healthiest. Invest in a skincare routine and devote just 10 minutes of your day to it. You don't have to make it complicated. I use this aloe vera moisturizer I got from Target and this facial cleanser. It's literally the bare minimum, and I only do this routine at night. I just wash my face with water in the morning. It's what works for me. I pretty much had a skincare routine since I was a teenager because of my acne. I've used tons of products, but since implementing the previous habits I talked about, like eating clean and drinking water, my skin has become more clear as a result. So I don't really have to do much for my skin, but I still recommend it nonetheless. There's many skincare routines for men or just in general that you can watch on YouTube. You honestly just have to experiment with what works for you because everyone has a different type of skin. You may have oily or dry or just a combination of both. So implement a skincare routine because when your skin is looking gleamy, it comes off as attractive. And the last one I want to talk about is sleep. I recommend getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep every day. 8 hours is the sweet spot and what I try to strive for. Studies show that the faces of sleep-deprived people have eyes that are more red and more swollen than others. Also having dark circles around the eyes or just eye bags. You will be perceived as less attractive and less healthy if you have a tired-looking face. Not getting enough sleep is also associated with paler skin, more wrinkles, and droopy corners of the mouth. Not only that, but there are health risks that come into play when you don't get enough hours of sleep, so this is just a warning. Now, also, don't stress out if you don't get enough sleep one night. I'd read about the importance of sleep and the effects it has on the body, and I'd freak out if I were to only get, 5 hours. Just try again the next night and get into bed 30 minutes early. You guys already know the procedures, like eliminating any distractions. Your phone, for example. One minute you're scrolling on Instagram in bed telling yourself you're about to go to sleep, and the next you're still awake at 3 a.m. regretting your previous life decisions. So this video is getting too long. I might make a part 2 about some helpful additional habits that I personally don't do, but I may get into in the future. Correct swallowing is something else I want to touch on in a future video. So these are the habits I've implemented to improve my facial attractiveness. Most people aren't willing to add these habits to the routine and stick with it for years. It's difficult, it's exhausting going to the gym 7 days a week, dedicating your time to build muscle. It's hard eating clean and sticking to your diet, going on runs to maintain a low body fat percentage, keeping your tongue on the roof of your mouth while sleeping. These things are difficult for the first few months though. You guys gotta understand, it gets easier. And once you decide to take on a good habit, a habit that you complete every day, it becomes a part of you, a part of your nature. It's automatic and it becomes easier to do. It doesn't feel like a chore anymore. There's a certain threshold that you must bypass to understand this, and I think it comes after a few months of completing that habit every day. I've experimented, I went through the trials and tribulations, seeing what works and what doesn't, and I want to point out what works for me, it might not work for you. I want to also mention that I was genetically predisposed to achieve these results. My mother, my grandmother, and father were attractive when they were younger and had good bone structure, and my older brother has always had a sharp jawline. But it was the bad habits that I had in my adolescence and in my teen years that stunted my genetic potential, and that's why I believe if I hadn't implemented mewing or the other habits I discussed in this video, I would look nowhere near how I do today. So my advice to you is just start. You don't know what awaits you in 2 or 5 years from now. Imagine if I had the mindset that there was no point in improving myself and my physical appearance just because I read some article saying mewing doesn't work or that you can't change your facial appearance. Just start. So I'm going to end the video off. I don't just want to make videos about how to be attractive. I also want to make videos on other areas of self-improvement like mental health and how to stay consistent in your habits. So if you like this kind of content and you want to see more in the future, then yeah, just subscribe, and thanks for watching.